Alexander Isak transfer, not a strange scenario, as bold Liverpool strategy defended. Liverpool continued to be interested in Newcastle United forward Alexander Isak, despite seeing £110 million bid rejected last week. Alexander Isak of Newcastle United. Michael Owen believes Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak moving to Liverpool ticks a lot of boxes and has dismissed criticism over the pursuit of the player. The Reds saw a £110 million bid for Isak rejected by the Magpies last week, having been longtime admirers of the Sweden international. Isak has informed Newcastle of his desire to seek a fresh challenge elsewhere, with Liverpool understood to be his preferred destination. Reports have also suggested he has no intention of signing a new contract at St. James Park, with 3 years left to run on his present deal. The 25-year-old missed Newcastle's tour of the Far East due to a minor injury and was instead spotted training in Spain with a personal instructor, but has since returned to the Magpies training ground amid a warning from boss Eddie Howe that he must earn the right to rejoin the first-team squad. Liverpool have no plans to make a second bid for Isak as things stand, but haven't ended their interest and are keeping a watchful eye on developments at Newcastle. And while both the Reds and Isak have been lambasted by some for their behavior, former Newcastle and Liverpool forward Owen believes their respective actions are merely par for the course. "This is not a strange scenario," he said. "It happens all the time. It's a high-profile scenario, but it's the same scenario as what happens all the time." There are a lot of simple things that go into the discussion. From Newcastle's point of view, they've got a player who's under contract, and they've got to weigh up the balance of the finances, what they could receive, maybe having an unhappy player, or maybe keeping someone against his will. But at the end of the day, they've got him tied to a contract, so they do hold a big say in this whole scenario. There are 3 different positions at play here, and we'll see how it transpires, Owen added. Remember that Newcastle are obviously in the Champions League as well. At the start of the season, Newcastle are offering exactly what Liverpool are in terms of the competitions they're in. However, we all, or at least the vast majority of people, would say that Liverpool have a better chance of winning the league, winning the Champions League, and winning other trophies than Newcastle. And if that's the case, and the contract will inevitably be a lot better if he makes a move to Liverpool, then it ticks a lot of boxes. You can see why it could be turning the player's head. You can see why Liverpool would want him. Liverpool are in the process of reconfiguring their forward options, with Hugo Ekitike having joined from Eintracht Frankfurt for an initial £69 million, while Luis Diaz has departed to Bayern Munich for £65.5 million. And speaking to Ask Gamblers on behalf of the Echo, Owen believes Darwin Núñez could be the next to leave the club. "Listen, Núñez is obviously a talented boy. That's why he got signed by Liverpool. But is he going to be a starter?" said Owen. "Is he going to improve significantly enough to justify it? If you're going to be a Liverpool center forward at the moment, you need to be one of the very, very best in the world. And is he that? I don't think so, no. I think he's an asset that Liverpool will be thinking about trading, depending on how they go in the transfer market. If Isak comes, then I think he might be surplus, and they might be best offloading and getting some money for him, because he is going to be in demand for a certain type of team." Of Diaz departing, Owen added, "I was surprised. From the player's point of view, I couldn't understand why he would want to leave the reigning champions, a team that's going to have an excellent chance of winning the Champions League this season, for a team that isn't as good as Liverpool at the moment, in my opinion. So unless Liverpool wanted to cash in or needed to bring some money in to re-energize other positions, I don't know. He's definitely replaceable, but I did like him. I thought he was good, and he will be missed." Benjamin Cesco decision is a gamble, but Man United are doing what they said they would. Manchester United are taking another risk in their ongoing pursuit of Benjamin Cesco amid their obvious need for a proven goalscorer. Manchester United have made an opening offer for Benjamin Cesco. Manchester United have been down this road before. After signing Rasmus Højlund from Atlanta in the 2023 summer transfer window, United are now trying to sign another young striker in the form of RB Leipzig ace Benjamin Cesco. United are understood to have submitted an opening offer for the striker worth just under £74 million, It is a significant fee for a player that has never scored more than 15 goals in a single season in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. The Slovenian international scored 13 Bundesliga goals for Leipzig last season and 14 the season before. It is a respectable return for a player that only turned 22 at the very end of May. But is it good enough to command such an eye-watering price tag? Newcastle United have, of course, also expressed plenty of interest in the former Red Bull Salzburg striker, making 2 bids for his services thus far. Their second offer is reportedly worth more than United's opening bid. Attracting such interest from 2 Premier League clubs suggests both United and Newcastle are firmly of the belief Cesco is a striker that has the capability to come to England and make all the difference. The Reds, after finishing last season with a goal difference of -10, have prioritized attacking signings this summer, already bringing in Matheus Cunha from Wolves and Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. However, the missing piece in the jigsaw remains a number 9. In Cunha and Mbeumo, United have signed 2 players with proven Premier League records. They scored 35 league goals between them last term and have plundered 71 career goals in England's top flight. As a result of their additions to Ruben Amorim's squad, United are within their rights to believe they can take a gamble on Cesco and deploy him at the tip of what would be a new-look attack. The Slovenian would be able to lean on them for support to help ease the burden on his shoulders. Ruben Amorim is desperate to bring in a striker. United have also expressed interest in Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins recently. He boasts a proven Premier League record and has plundered 35 goals league since the start of the 2023-24 campaign. Watkins would offer a greater guarantee of hitting the ground running at Old Trafford and providing immediate results in front of goal. He knows the league inside out and has a very respectable record. On the flip side, Cesco has a higher ceiling than the England international, and potential is what United would be buying. Only turning 22 just over 2 months ago, he is still raw and developing. However, United, ahead of the start of this season, want to try and implement a long-term strategy under Amorim that can lead them to a position from which they will be able to launch a genuine title charge for the 2027-28 season. Project 150 was unveiled last year, and it has been created with the ambition of United winning the Premier League title in 2028 to coincide with their 150th anniversary. United's aim for the coming season, first and foremost, has to be securing a place back in Europe for the 2026-27 campaign. The Reds will be without European football this season for the first time since 2014-15. Although United will have fight from a low base to secure their place back in Europe for next season, they will be confident of doing so with the new signings they have made so far. Furthermore, a full pre-season for Amorim already appears to be paying off. Manchester United hope to win the race for Benjamin Cesco. Signing Cesco as a long-term option is something United can, to a degree, get away with this summer amid their additions of proven Premier League operators in Mbeumo and Cunha. The club in the last 12 months or so has shown through their recruitment they are prepared to sign young players with a long-term plan in mind. Cesco is by no means the finished article, and signing him would represent another massive risk in the attacking department. But there is no doubt about his potential, meaning he could prove to be a shrewd addition in the long term. I've been in Alexander Isak's position. No one should blame him for making Liverpool transfer. Exclusive. Liverpool holds an interest in the Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak, with Michael Owen offering his thoughts on the situation amid the summer saga. Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak. Former Liverpool striker Michael Owen says it is only natural that Alexander Isak would want to leave Newcastle United to join the Anfield side this summer, with the player's head having been turned. Isak has been the subject of one bid by Liverpool, which was swiftly turned down. But Newcastle is chasing alternatives to its star man, and the number 9 could yet depart this summer if replacements can be sourced by the northeast side, which is hoping to tie up a move for Benjamin Cesco. Isak's obviously an incredibly talented boy, and I would say that there aren't that many top-class center forwards around in the world at the moment, Owen told Liverpool.com. So if there's a team in need and they're a top team, then your eyes would certainly be drawn to him. He's had a great season. Newcastle are in the Champions League this year. There's a lot to look forward to at Newcastle. They're a wealthy team. Whether they can spend that money is a different question, but I don't blame Liverpool for being interested in him. I don't blame any top team for being interested in him, because he's one of the world's best in his position. So from any club's point of view, I don't blame them at all. Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak pictured last season. Isak would be an instant starter for Liverpool should the move get over the line. Last year, he scored 23 league goals. Only Mohamed Salah notched more, and he is now ready to take the next step in his career. Liverpool clearly would be a step up. From his position, this will always be the case, Owen said. If a team that's not winning the Premier League or Champions League, in this instance it's Newcastle, are being challenged by a great team that's at the top of the tree, that is Liverpool, Champions League winners in recent years, Premier League winners as well, and competes at the very top and looks like they are going to continue to, then it's obviously a head-turner. While the player himself might have to force the move, and in staying at home rather than joining Newcastle on tour in Asia, that has perhaps already begun, Owen can understand his feelings. I've been in the position of being a footballer, and I can't blame people for being ambitious. Owen, speaking on behalf of Ask Gamblers, continued, If people were just in it for money and weren't that bothered, we wouldn't have a great game. Football wouldn't be the game it is. The whole point is that everybody strives to be the best they can be, to play for the best teams they can, and try to win as many medals as possible in their short career. So I can't blame players for wanting to excel and better themselves. It's a scenario we've seen a million times before at all levels, and we'll continue to see it. It's not unique in any way, shape, or form. This is just the norm. It's just how it transpires. Obviously, one thing is that Newcastle still has his services for about 3 years left on his contract, so they do hold a lot of power. However, we've seen before that when players want something, demand something, it's not easy to keep an unhappy player. Sherer breaks silence on one-away Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Newcastle legend Alan Sherer has urged the club to move on from Alexander Isak, with the striker's future still up in the air. The Swedish striker remains a target for Premier League champions Liverpool, with the club preparing another approach after their first official bid was rejected this weekend. Isaac has played no part in the Magpies' preseason preparations after ruling himself out with a thigh injury and spent last week training alone at his former club, Real Sociedad. On Monday, Isaac returned to Newcastle's training ground, with reports suggesting he will meet with Eddie Howe to discuss his future. Speaking on the rest is football, the Premier League record goal scorer lauded Isak's contributions during his time at St. James Park, but insisted the club have to be ready to move on without him. I'm not angry at all towards him, Sherer said. Alan Sherer insisted Newcastle would be well served in moving one-away striker Alexander Isak on this summer. Eddie Howe has been forced to consider his options with Isak's future at the club in limbo. And Magpies legend Sherer claimed the club need to be able to move forward without him. Do I like it? Do I understand it? Probably two different things. But I know what football's about, and I know how it works. Obviously, Liverpool have been into him or his agent. I just thought it might have happened next year. And if it really is impossible for Eddie to turn him around, and he says no and it sounds like that is the case, I want to be out now. You get your big money for him, and then you move on. As I said, no individual is bigger than any football club, and if he doesn't want to be there, fine, get what you can and get him out, and say thanks very much for the memories. Off you go. Howe has been forced to deal with multiple transfer headaches this summer, in addition to the uncertainty surrounding Isak's future. The club were linked with the likes of Liam Delap, Brian Mbeumo, and Hugo Ekitike, but ultimately watched all three join their Premier League rivals. England international James Trafford was also on the club's radar before Manchester City re-signed their academy graduate last month. Sherer reflected on the dismal summer thus far. I think up to now it's been a disastrous window for Newcastle.